Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. I have another big book haul. I got a bunch of books last month back in September, which is, nothing new these days. I want to say there's probably less eBay historical romances, but probably not. But I did get a lot of new books from some publishers and authors that I can't wait to share with you all. But first, here's my Hello Lovely box unboxing, even though I technically already unboxed it on Instagram. But I did get two things from them. One is the fall featured author box. The author is Maria Louise, who is completely new to me. The box comes with this alternate cover of Road to Fire. It is a romantic suspense set in England. I know a friend of mine loves this book. She's been pushing me to read it, so now I have it and I can read it. The box always comes with two ebooks. This time it is Adriana Herrera and Jackie Lau. There's a cute little Shine Bright pin, some chapstick, and this nice moonlight pin. It says read by moonlight and the design is so pretty. And it also came with two big items, this Moody Readers Club tumbler and this nice light scarf. So that's the first box, and the second one is their monthly surprise box. This one is for September. So last month's surprise box came with this face mask with books on it, a cute little headband, some more chapstick, and these were the two ebooks that came with it, Mary Catherine Gebhard and Amelia Wilde. I always love the Hello Lovely boxes. There's always so much thought and care into all the items. I am for sure using this face mask when I go out. If you want to go check them out, I'll link them down below. You can also use my code Lacey15 if you want a 15% discount. And now onto all of the books that I got last month. I will start off with all the romance books that some publishers sent over my way and then make my way from there. Avon was so good to me last month and sent me a bunch of stuff. First is Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This one is actually out today, the day that I'm filming, October 6th. Have I read it yet? No, but I'm hoping to really soon. I've just been in a slump myself, but this one sounds adorable. It's a contemporary romance all about fan fiction. It's a celebrity romance as well, with the hero being a TV star and the main characters are both fan fiction writers. I think that's so cool. I personally never really got into the whole fan fiction thing, but this still sounds so good to me, and I'm sure if you actually do read fan fiction, this is probably perfect for you. I got Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. This one already came out. It is the final book in her Hot and Hammered series. I have read this one. I really enjoyed it. If you love HGTV stuff, if you love enemies to lovers, Tessa Bailey combines both of those things in this book. A Princess for Christmas by Jenny Holiday. October is like the start of all these Christmas romance releases, and I am kind of living for it. This one is an actual princess Christmas romance. The heroine is a princess. The hero becomes her driver, taking her all around New York City. This just sounds so adorable and so very hallmarky. I also got this arc of Love is a Rogue by Lenora Bell. This is the first in a new series. I read her for the first time last year and enjoyed her so much, so I'm excited to read more from her. This is actually another HGTV related romance, except this time it's historical. I don't think I've ever read anything home renovation related in a historical romance, so this should be a lot of fun. The hero here is the one who has been hired to renovate the heroine's brother's mansion. I also got a couple recent releases. This one is Beauty Tempts the Beast by Lorraine Heath. This is a historical romance. The heroine here asks the hero to help her with some seduction tips. She wants to learn from him how to seduce a man. I think this is the last book in a series. It's a series I haven't read yet, but this should probably read fine as a standalone. Another historical romance is My Kind of Earl by Vivian Lorette. We've got a bookish, nerdy heroine who studies the ways of scoundrels, and she actually recognizes the hero as a long-lost lord. He was orphaned as a child, so he had no idea that he was actually an aristocrat. Her Night with the Duke by Diana Quincy. This one I have read. It's a forbidden historical romance. The hero is a duke, and he ends up falling for the stepmother of his intended bride. So it's very forbidden, very spicy. I really enjoyed this one. It's the first in a new series, and I already can't wait to read more from this author. And last Last from Avon, I got Emerald Blaze by Ilona Andrews. This series, the Hidden Legacy series, is one of my favorites. I love it so much. It's like paranormal romance and urban fantasy. I mean, I love Ilona Andrews. I'll read anything from them. Emerald Blaze is book 5 in the Hidden Legacy series. I loved it. I mean, I love all the books in the series. This is technically the second book for this couple. The first 3 books were about a different couple, the heroine's sister. If you love slow burn in your romances and you love a lot of action in your paranormal stuff, this series is perfection. I also got a couple other romances from some publishers. In Holidays by Christina Lauren. This is their very first Christmas romance. I haven't read it yet, but it's also out today. It also sounds very Hallmarky, with a love triangle between 2 brothers, and it's like Groundhog Day where the heroine relives the same day over and over, except this time it is Christmas. I am a little hesitant about this one. I'm hoping I'll love it more than their more recent stuff, which have been a little too women's fiction-y for my taste, but I'll still read it because I'm feeling very Christmassy this October. And this last book is one that I've been very curious about, and it is Layla by Colleen Hoover. This one is her very first paranormal book. I don't know if it's really paranormal romance. Hopefully it is. The blurb is very vague, so I have no idea what kind of paranormal stuff is gonna happen in this book. There will probably be some twists and turns to this one because it is Colleen Hoover. Honestly, the cover makes it look like a thriller, but again, I am just so curious to see how Colleen Hoover will do something paranormal related. I have read her Never Never series that she co-wrote with Taryn Fisher. That was probably the most paranormal stuff that she ever wrote before this one. I also got a couple Harlequin books. This one is Trust Fund Fiancé by Naima Simone. This has a fake engagement turning into an elopement. After Hours Redemption by Kiana Alexander. This one has a songwriter heroine. Alaskan Christmas Redemption by Belle Calhoun, and Home for the Baby's Sake by Christine Rimmer. I got a couple books from Entangled. This is Her Aussie Holiday by Stephanie London. The heroine goes on a getaway to Australia and ends up falling for her new Australian roommate. Accidentally Family by Sasha Summers. This one has 2 single parent main characters. The Wedding Date Disaster by Avery Flynn, which is an enemies to lovers wedding romance. And Never an Amish Bride by Ophelia London, which is an Amish romance. I also got a bunch of books from some indie authors. First is Any Luck at All by A.R. Casella and Denise Grover Swank. I've never read either of these authors, but it sounds cute. This one, the heroine and her siblings have just inherited a brewery. The hero is the newly hired brewmaster. This book also came with this really cute journal and this bottle cap opener, which is pretty fitting. I also got London Prep Book 3 by Jillian Dodd. This book is pretty thick. It's like a young adult, mature young adult series set in prep school. I also got Colleen Hoover's latest release, Heartbones. It's a new adult romance with a couple of twists and turns at the end. I really enjoyed this one. It was really sweet. It's not my favorite Colleen Hoover book, but it is very reminiscent of the earlier stuff that she wrote years ago, which honestly are my favorite books from her. If I had to describe this book, I would say that it's a very emotional beach read. I got Perfect Wreckage by Catherine Cowles. This is book 2, I believe, in the Wrecked series, which is the small town romance series. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds very intense, very emotional. Next is Out of Love by Julie Ann. This is a college romance with some romantic suspense thrown in. I enjoyed this one a lot. This one, the romance is really fun, but it does have its twists and turns. The hero is a very mysterious guy. He kind of lives a double life, and it also has the cutest German Shepherd. The dog here is like the hero's sidekick, his best friend. I just love this dog so much. The One That Got Away by Karina Halle. This is her newest book and a spin-off of The Forbidden Man. The hero is a famous soccer player, the captain of Real Madrid. It's a second chance romance as well. He met the heroine about 7 years ago, and this book takes us across those 7 years. It's a bit of a forbidden romance as well. The heroine is actually dating his brother first. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it as much as The Forbidden Man, but I'm still really happy that we finally got Luciano's book. LJ Shen sent me Playing with Fire. This one is her newest standalone, a college new adult romance. I really like this one. It took me a little while to warm up to it, but I did enjoy these characters and their romance. We have a scarred heroine, a bad boy hero. They are new new co-workers at this taco food truck on campus. They become frenemies, and I just really enjoyed their banter together. I got Samantha Young's latest book, The Truest Thing, which is the fourth and final book in her Heart's Boardwalk series. It is quite angsty. The romance is years in the making. We've got a shy, bookish heroine and the town playboy who has kind of turned into a bad boy himself. Basically, this book is just the hero trying to make amends for everything and everyone that he wronged, especially the heroine. It was a really sweet ending to the series. If you love small towns with like beach boardwalk vibes, you definitely should try the Heart's Boardwalk series. I got 2 books from Nikki Sloane, who writes some very steamy books, but I haven't read enough of them yet. The Pool Boy is her newest release. It's book 2 in the Nashville Neighborhood series, and we've got quite the age gap here with an older heroine. She's going through a midlife crisis after catching her husband cheating on her with his boss, his male boss, and I'm guessing this is when the Pool Boy comes in, a very hot young 20-something pool boy. It sounds like a ton of fun, very spicy, and I mean, this cover just says it all. She also sent book 1 of the series, which was a lovely surprise. The Doctor is another forbidden romance, and it's not quite because he's a doctor. He is the heroine's ex-boyfriend's dad. So this sounds great. I'm guessing it's another age gap romance, definitely giving me birthday girl vibes. I can't wait to read it. This last one was actually a giveaway win. I won it over on Facebook. It is A.L. Jackson's newest release, Falling Into You. It's a standalone in the Falling Stars series, which is a rock star romance series, I believe. This hero is the guitarist for the band. It sounds like a second chance romance, sounds very angsty. And then I got a bunch of non-romancy stuff. Honestly, most of these are from Booksparks. I did not remember requesting all of these books, but I got them anyway. I'm pretty sure I just said that I wanted like the fiction contemporary stack and like a couple fantasies. But this first book that they sent over is one that a lot of people have been talking about, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I actually got an arc of it, but I sent it over to a friend. But I was also lucky enough to get this finished copy, this hardcover, which is so pretty. This is what the inside looks like. I've been hearing a lot of good things about this one. Maybe not about the romance, but like the concept as a whole. The main character makes a deal with the devil to live forever, except that she will never be remembered by anyone that she meets. There's a love triangle as well with this devil, which I'm very intrigued by. Hopefully I'll read it soon. We'll see. I got Purple Lotus by Veena Rao, which is an Own Voices Indian American fiction novel. The heroine here is abused by her first husband and is dealing with all the trauma of that and trying to rebuild a new life for herself. Truth of the Matter by Jamie Beck. The heroine here is a newly divorced single mom. She finds this vintage recipe box of her grandmother's, and lots of secrets are unveiled. I also got a bunch of contemporary fiction, women's fiction-y books from Booksparks. Best Part of Us by Sally Cole Meesh, which sounds very nature-y. Show Me the Way and Dream Big Stella by Ashley Farley, which is part of the same series set in a small Virginia town. Boop and Eve's Road Trip by Mary Helen Sheriff. This one does sound really cute. A grandmother and granddaughter go on a road trip together. Goodbye Orchid by Carol Vanderhend. The blurb is pretty vague. The tagline though, it says, "To love her, he had to leave her." So it sounds very dramatic. And Jenna Takes the Fall by A.R. Taylor. The title says it all. The heroine apparently takes the fall and agrees to put herself under the dead body of her boss. I got some random fantasy books from Booksparks as well. This one is The Tinderbox by Lou Diamond Phillips, and A Place Called Zamora by an author whose name I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. Those were all the Booksparks books. Now I'm gonna show you everything else that I got before I get into all the used books that I bought off of eBay. I got Sword of Seven Sins by Emily Collin, which is a young adult fantasy, and it looks like it has some romance as well. Bestiary by K. Ming Chang. This is a story about 3 generations of Taiwanese American women. I got 2 more Christmas related books. This one is All About Us House by Tom Allen. The hero here is in a marriage that is on the rocks, and an old flame of his comes back into his life. And then to make things even more complicated, he is time traveled back to the day where he has to decide between these two women. The other Christmas book is Debbie May Comer, Jingle All the Way. I am pretty sure she has something Christmas related out every year. This one, the heroine has a month-long vacation and ends up stuck in a rainforest for 2 weeks, and there is a romance. Another Debbie May Comer book, not Christmas related, but it is set on a small beach town, and it's about two sisters. I was sent the new Jodi Picoult book, The Book of Two Ways. The heroine here goes through a plane crash and her life flashes before her eyes, but instead of seeing her husband, she sees the guy that she left 15 years ago. I got the new Nicholas Sparks book, The Return. The hero here returns back to his hometown. I've actually never read any of his books, but I have watched like 2 of his movies, The Last Song and Safe Haven, which were not all that bad. I got The Brilliant Life of Eudora Honeysett. This is by Annie Lyons. It's about an elderly woman who starts to live again thanks to her 10-year-old neighbor. I also got Mad and Bad, which is about the real heroines of the Regency, and the author is actually one of the owners of the Ripped Bodice, which is a romance brick and mortar bookstore. I love that place. I got a recipe book by Gordon Ramsay. This is called Quick and Delicious. I love Gordon Ramsay. I love cookbooks. It looks great. And finally, I got The Killings at Kingfisher Hill. This is a thriller, a mystery thriller by Sophie Hannah, but I'm assuming this is a series that was originally started by Agatha Christie. And now onto all of the used books, used historical romances that I got for myself last month. I got this Karen Marie Moning lot, 5 books in her Highlander series, which are all historical romances, some with time travel and some paranormal stuff going on. Book 1 is Beyond the Highland Mist. The heroine time travels back to medieval Scotland. This book might have been the very first adult romance that I ever read. Book 2 is To Tame a Highland Warrior. Book 3 is The Highlander's Touch. Book 5 is The Dark Highlander, which is my favorite of the series. This romance has a hero who time travels into modern day instead of the heroine time traveling back, although that also does happen later on in the book. And book 6 is The Immortal Highlander. I got 2 Joanna Lindsey historical romances from a friend on Instagram, Captive Bride, which I think is her very first book, and A Loving Scoundrel. With this step back, I finally finished my Joanna Lindsey vintage cover collection, and now that I have Captive Bride, there were 21 or 22 books in total, not counting step backs. This is just for the covers, but I took a photo of all of them on Instagram if you want to see them all. I also got a bunch of Stephanie Lawrence books. Have I read her? Nope, but I saw this 10 book lot for $10. So I had to bid on it. Funny story, my friend Lisa from Remarkably Lisa accidentally bid against me, so I ended up paying $12 for this one. So in this lot, I got a couple Sinster series books and a couple Bastion Club series books. A Rogue's Proposal is book 4 in the Sinster series. Sadly, this one has a fake step back. Next is The Promise in a Kiss. This is not actually book 5, but it's some special edition, and this is what the step back looks like. Book 11 is The Ideal Bride. Also, I only know the reading order because there's a very handy guide at the beginning of all of these books. What Price Love is book 13, and the Bastion Club books I have are A Fine Passion, sadly no step back, Gentleman's Honor, The Edge of Desire with this step back, and To Distraction with this step back. I also bought myself a Judith McNaught lot with a couple vintage covers. Starting with her historicals, this one is Once and Always, Almost Heaven. I got this newer edition of Whitney My Love, and Something Wonderful, which is the one that I've been really looking for because of this beautiful step back. And I got a couple of her contemporaries as well, Double Standards with this vintage cover, and I got these 2 editions of Paradise. I also bought some hardcovers from eBay. I got Blood Fever by Karen Marie Moning, which is book 2 in her Fever series. I've been collecting the series in hardcover because it's one of my my favorite series of all time. It's such a good urban fantasy series. Now I just need book 1 in hardcover, and I found this gorgeous hardcover of Topaz with the original cover. I actually bought this thinking it was a paperback. eBay said it was a paperback, but it arrived as a hardcover, which is the exact same thing that happened when I bought Indigo with the original cover. I bought it thinking it was a paperback, but it came as a hardcover. But I mean, I'm not mad about it. I got an Anne Stewart lot mainly because I really wanted these gorgeous vintage covers. This one is To Love a Dark Lord with this beautiful cover. This one is Shadow Dance. The main characters here actually are on the run, and they end up dressing as the opposite gender to escape. And this one is A Rose at Midnight. This one sounds the best to me. The heroine wants revenge against the hero, but instead the hero ends up kidnapping her. I got Shameless, which is another historical romance. I actually have read book 1 of the series. It's the only book that I read from Anne Stewart. Also in this lot is Lady Fortune and Prince of Swords with this really shiny cover. And the last book in this lot is Hidden Honor. I think this one has a vintage cover, but this one is the new one. I think all of these were historical romances, though she does also write contemporaries and romantic suspenses. My friend Samantha from Books with Samantha sent me her extra copy of Midnight by Beverly Jenkins. This is a historical romance set in Boston with an undercover heroine. And finally, the final books in this haul. I got a bunch of books from my friend Carrie, who is fairly new to BookTube. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. She ended up buying 1,000 romance books for only $50, and she's been slowly hauling all her books on her channel, so be sure to check it out. She sent me a couple Christmas historical romances, which is perfect timing. A Christmas Scandal and Merry Christmas by Jane Guger, and Mistletoe Magic by Sophia James. And she also sent some non-Christmas historical romances. Another Sophia James book, The Border Lord, Reckless Angel by Jane Feather with this beautiful little embossing. Wed Him Before You Bed Him by Sabrina Jeffries. And the last one is The Bridemaker by Roxanne Becknell. So that was my haul for September. Lots of new books, so many historical romances again. Let me know if you read any of these books. I'll leave a link to all of them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!